The EPA continues to crack down on manufacturing, which would further cripple the U.S. economy, but save the cave-dwelling Paiute trout, or whatever it is they're trying to save at this point. If this issue were really truly about science, wouldn't we stop right now? The global warming thing, isn't there enough right now? I mean, assuming that you've found any of the articles on TV or on, the internet or any of the magazines on the newsstands or your newspapers about global warming, wouldn't you say there's enough to say, hey, wait, we should look at what the scientists are saying? This isn't about science. It never has been. It's about control. All of it. Healthcare, not about health. It's about control. Another example of that control is Michelle Obama's obesity campaign.
We want to get parents information so that they can make good decisions. We want to improve the quality of food in our schools, and we want to make food more affordable and accessible because we have food deserts for more than 23.5 million Americans, folks who don't live anywhere near a supermarket, so they can't get access to good fresh produce.
Food deserts. So are we going to have to take over supermarkets now? Food deserts. That's fantastic. And we need more information to our parents. Here's all the information you need. Donuts will make your kids look like me. We're looking into this fiasco right now. Mark my words. I will bet you, that we're going to find some corresponding piece of legislation in the health care bill that was rejected that relates directly to the First Lady's initiative. And who wants to bet SCIU is involved? You really think Michelle Obama is worried about your child's BMI? Or is it more likely that she and her husband are just doing what they said they would do during the campaign? Watch.
Barack Obama will require you to work. He is going to demand that you shed your cynicism, that you put down your division, that you come out of your isolation, that you move out of your comfort zones, that you push yourselves to be better, and that you engage. Barack will never allow you to go back to your lives as usual, uninvolved, uninformed.
I mean, what kind of America is that? If I want to be fat, stupid, lazy, I can be that. I can be that. You know why he's going to force you to not be that? Is because now you're a drain on everybody else's pocket. See, that's a case for smaller government. I realized that during the election, the media put its fingers to its ears and yelled, I don't hear anything, blah, 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 blah. But kids, time to wake up. We're not in the election anymore. These people now have real power, and Barack Obama is wielding that power with executive orders. Keep in mind, candidate Obama wanted change. Remember? Hope. Change. He wanted to change everything about Washington. He disliked everything about George W. Bush, or everything George Bush ever did, ever stood for. Yet it seems like business as usual in our nation's capital. Yeah. It was supposed to come to an end, but no, under Barack Obama, he's already on pace to sign far more executive orders than the evil George W. Bush did. He also adopted many of Bush's terror policies, war strategies, surveillance techniques. You know what? Last week, somebody in the administration said that Americans have, quote, no reasonable expectation of privacy on your cell phone. Really? He tells us how much of a mess he inherited from the last president. I know he's got a lot of things going on. If U.S. Congress doesn't wake up, if they don't wake up and exercise their balance of powers put in place by our founders, they will soon go the way of the cave-dwelling Paiute trout and the California farmer. You will not believe the powers given this government through executive orders already, not just by this president, but the last president and the one before him and the one before that. We should be taking powers away from these people, not allowing them to sign more to themselves. But we will cover that, and believe me, it's shocking, tomorrow. Back in a minute.
The biggest scam of the generation unveiled. Anyone seen Al Gore?
Something very very strange happened on the way to, you know, the environmentalist happy funland. Because by now, we were not only supposed to have jobs in a wonderful new green economy with free health care for everybody, but we were also supposed to have saved the earth. If you think I'm overstating the promise, let the President of the United States and his words speak for themselves.
Generations from now, we will be able to look back and tell our children that this was the moment when we began to provide care for the sick and good jobs to the jobless. This was the moment when the rise of the oceans began to slow and our planet began to heal.
We're holding and healing while creating jobs with this. Shh, go to sleep. I'm just creating some jobs over here on the backside of your head, Mr. Planet. Yeah, that's and that was the time when we were going to start to care for the sick. Wow. Well, now back in reality land where people don't heal planets, we just face the truth. The economy is far, far worse. Healthcare has failed miserably, and cap and trade is a disaster. But what about the healing of the earth? Still, they seem to march on with the whole cap and trade global warming thing, despite the latest from Phil Jones. Phil Jones, a leading climate scientist from the alarmist side of the argument. Help, help, we're all going to die in a fiery flood, right? Central figure of the leaked email scandal known by some who actually read papers that report the truth, ClimateGate. Along with his admissions now in an interview with that right-wing organization, the BBC. This is what he said. The rate of warming in the late 20th century, not unique. What? Really? Yeah, he goes on to say, in fact, yeah, it happened 2 other times in the past 150 years alone. Almost had ya. Between 1860 and 1880. And then again between 1910 and 1940 started to heat up and then it went down again. That seemed to work itself out. Oh, by the way, those were both far before anybody had an SUV or there was a significant impact from man-made emissions. Next, this guy admitted uncertainty in the temperature readings only 130 years ago. 130 years ago. There's a lot. I'm not really sure what happened. I mean, how do we check and find out what happened 1,000 years ago? We can't even find out what happened 130 years ago, let alone 1,000. But what about something a little more current? I like current stuff. Al Gore TV is current TV. Yeah. Jones admits that there has been no significant warming since 1995. No statistically significant warming since 1995. Just doing the math in my head, that's 15 years. 15 years, that's weird. Doesn't that go all the way back to when Al Gore was just a dull vice president and not a dull atmospheric scientist / Nobel Prize winning / climate profiteer? Yeah, I think it does. 1995. And Jones also admits there's been a slight global cooling since 2002. While it's also not statistically significant, someone at the head of the alarmist community, even thinking the words global cooling, is kind of a little victory right here in my heart. Now, how about the famous hockey stick graph? Central idea is, no, nothing significant happened here. 1,000 years, nothing. Very stable for 1,000 years. And then all of a sudden we get an SUV and boom, it's all the way to the top, right? Yeah, this is when you started driving your kids to school. Right here, you hate monger.